So, hello everyone. Welcome to our environment NCRT session. So, it is our lecture 3, and the first chapter of this third lecture is the biodiversity and conservation. So, it is chapter 15, biodiversity and conservation. So, in this chapter, we are going to cover exactly different aspects of the biodiversity. So, what is the need of biodiversity, the meaning of the biodiversity, and the what is the richness of the biodiversity. So we are going to cover those angles of related to the biodiversity, and after that we will see some conservation methods of the biodiversity. That is our the second part of the lecture. Okay. So let's start with the first part, that is biodiversity and conservation. So in our biosphere, immense diversity exists not only at the species level but at all the levels of the biological organization, ranging from the micromolecules within the cells to biomes. So we earlier discuss about the what is the exact meaning of the biodiversity, or we can say we already look all the levels of the biodiversity, means from the individual level to the last biosphere level. Okay, there are multiple levels. Like we already covered that the individual, then next level is the population, and after that the next level is the, we can say, the ecosystem, or after that there are multiple levels in the biosphere. So those even though on the other hand we can see some micro micro diversity also, like genetic biodiversity, or we can say the genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecological diversity. Means uh, generally we start in previous lecture that from the individual, and when individual uh, is getting more in their population, so we know at is as the population. Means when the individual population is increased, or the number of the individual increase, we know it as a population. Okay. So when the various different population is habitat having the habitat together, so we know it as a community. Okay. So that is the different thing. But when you go at the individual level or the species level, for example, there is a single number of some is like a tiger. So let's took a tiger. Okay. So if you take a tiger as a single individual, so within a tiger there are multiple species of the tiger. Okay. Like we can say the uh, black panther is there, or we can say for example, there are group of the cat. Okay. So there is multiple group of the cat, in which we can say there is a genetic diversity. So that is the thing. So we are going to cover all this part, what is the exactly genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecological diversity. So biodiversity is the term popularized by the biologist, that is Edward Wilson, to describe the combined diversity at all level of biological organization. Okay. So let's look at the types of biodiversity. So we can draw a pyramid. If you go at the genetic level for the same species, means यहाँ पे कोई भी XYZ species होगा, तो उसके genes अगर हम collect करते हैं, तो it is going to be the larger on the base. Means genes always ज्यादा हो गया as compared to the number of the species. एंड आफ्टर दैट कोई भी पर्टिकुलर हम या फिर यहाँ पे हम दो जीन्स अगर कंसिडर कर रहे कोई भी दो से तीन जीन्स, तो इनके नंबर जो भी होंगे, फॉर एग्जांपल ये ए नंबर का स्पीसीज है, सॉरी ए नंबर के जीन का स्पीसीज है, ये बी नंबर के जीन का स्पीसीज है, एंड ये सी नंबर के जीन का स्पीसीज, तो उनके मल्टीपल क्या होंगे, स्पीसीज होगी, इसके भी मल्टीपल स्पीसीज हो जाएंगे, सी के भी मल्टीपल स्पीसीज होगी. सो दैट्स व्हाई जीन्स के नंबर क्या होंगे, ऑलवेज ज्यादा हो गया, एंड आफ्टर दैट स्पीसीज, एंड आफ्टर दैट इकोसिस्टम. So always gene is always on the base, then species is on the second level, and third is the ecosystem. So what is the genetic diversity? So that is the genetic. So let's look at the genetic diversity. A single species might show high diversity at the genetic level or over a distributional range. India has more than 50,000 genetically different strains of rice. Means राइस एक सिंगल स्पीसीज है, बट उसके मल्टीपल जीन्स है, मीन्स 50,000. यहाँ पे आपको क्या दिखेंगे, डिफरेंट जेनेटिक स्पीसीज हो गए या फिर जेनेटिक स्ट्रेन्स हो गए राइस के, एंड 1000 वैरायटीज ऑफ मैंगो, मींस मैंगो इज अ वन स्पीसीज बट उसके जीन्स डिफरेंट अगर आप कंसिडर करते हो, सो 1000 वैरायटीज ऑफ मैंगोज है. So that's why देखो genes always ज्यादा होते हैं. Then next level is the species diversity. The diversity at the species level. For example, the Western Ghat have a greater amphibian species diversity than the Eastern Ghat. So India में अगर आप देखोगे, so it is generally tentatively हम India का कुछ ऐसे अगर मैप कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं, so यहाँ पे हमारे Western Ghat कुछ लोकेटेड है एंड यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा discontinuous pattern में Eastern Ghat लोकेटेड है. So on the Western Ghat we have the higher rainfall, so that's why we have the very dense forest, or we can say there is a multiple level of biodiversity or enriched level of the biodiversity as compared to the Eastern Ghat. So because Eastern Ghat gets a low rainfall as compared to the Western Ghat, so that's why there is a less number of forest, or we can say the comparatively less number of the forest, because you can see the Eastern Ghat has also has the we can say the dense forest, but we are going to compare the Eastern Ghat with the Western Ghat. So in the comparison, you will see that Western Ghat has the very high level of the biodiversity, or we can say the species richness, species biodiversity as compared to the Eastern Ghat. Okay, so ecological diversity at the ecosystem level. India, for instance, with the desert is the different ecosystem, then rainforest is the different ecosystem, mangrove is the different ecosystem, coral is the different ecosystem, and wetland estuaries like this. Okay, so if you easily identify those ecosystem, like if you divide India by their physiographic region, means northern plains of India, or we can say the northern Himalayas range or northern mountain complex, or if you see the Western Ghat, Eastern Ghat, West Coast Plain, East Coast Plain, or desert. So these every different physiographic region has the different type of the ecosystem. Okay, so that is the thing. So ecological diversity mostly depend on the physiographic pattern. So they are mostly, if estuaries and estuaries or we can say the delta, ये कहाँ पे होगा, तो मोस्टली कोस्टल एरियाज पे. वेटलैंड कहाँ पे होगे, कि रिवर साइड पे होगे, या फिर ट्रांजिशनल जोन बिटवीन वाटर एंड लैंड पार्ट, सो ये वेटलैंड में होगा. कोरल रीफ अगेन ये कहाँ पे होगा, कोस्टल एरियाज पे होगा. मैंग्रोव्स भी कहाँ पे होंगे, डेफिनेटली कोस्टल एरियाज पे होंगे. फॉरेस्ट कहाँ पे होगा, जहाँ पे टेरिस्टेड एरिया हाई रेनफॉल है, तो वहाँ पे रेन फॉरेस्ट आपको मिल जाएगा. एंड डेजर्ट कहाँ पे होगा, कि जहाँ पे रेनफॉल बहुत ही कम है, वो एरियाज में आपको डेजर्ट. सो जैसे टोपोग्राफी, जैसे आपका जोग्राफिक रीजन है, तो वैसे ही वहाँ पे बायोडाइवर्सिटी डेवलप होगी अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्लाइमेट ऑफ दैट रीजन. Okay, so and again another thing is that another second statement in the NCERT is the alpine meadows has a greater ecosystem diversity than Scandinavian country like Norway. Okay, so that is the thing, this alpine meadows has a greater ecosystem diversity than a Scandinavian is the region in the north of Europe, means if you see the North Sea, or the extended northeast extended part of the Atlantic, so there is a Scandinavian plateau, or we can say the Scandinavian range, and in that Scandinavian range you will see different countries like Norway, Sweden, Denmark. So those countries are known as the Scandinavian countries, and Norway is the important country in that Scandinavian part. So these region has lesser biodiversity, because this region is in the subpolar region. So these region generally get low, we can say the low sun rays. Okay, so if that region gets low sun rays, so the evaporation rate will be lower. Okay, so evaporation rate, if evaporation rate will be lower, so then rainfall will be lower. Okay, so rainfall is lower, then forested area is getting to be the lower. So that's why अगर forest ही यहाँ पे कम है, तो फिर यहाँ पे क्या होगा, rainfall भी कम ही होगा. Sorry, diversity, biodiversity भी क्या होगी, कम होगी. So that is the thing. So next is the genetic diversity. So genetic diversity is the total number of genetic characteristics in the genetic makeup of a species. A single species might show high diversity at the genetic level. For example, Chinese peoples, or Indo-American peoples, and African peoples. So these are the genetic levels. Okay, so India has more than 50,000 genetically different strains of the rice. We already covered that. Okay, so genetic diversity allows species to adapt to changing the environment. This diversity aims to ensure that some species survive drastic changes and thus carry on desirable genes. Okay, so genes species तो same रहता है यहाँ पे, बट जैसे अकॉर्डिंग क्लाइमेट चेंज होगा या डिफरेंट वो रीजन्स पे जो भी क्लाइमेट होगा तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग वो जीन या वो स्पीसीज खुद को एडॉप्ट करता है एंड उसके जीन्स में डिफरेंट चेंजेस आ जाते हैं, ठीक है, एंड उसके अकॉर्डिंग वो क्या होता है सेटल डाउन होता है एंड उसके डिफरेंट वैरायटीज क्रिएट होते हैं. सो दैट इज द डाइवर्सिटी इन द जेनेटिक level. Okay, so species that differ from the one another in their genetic makeup do not interbreed in nature. So ये अगर होगा कि डिफरेंट जेनेटिक होगे so उनके बीच में डिफरेंस होगा अगर तो वो वहां पे जेनेटिक मेकअप नहीं कर सकते. ओके, सो नेक्स्ट इज द स्पीसीज डाइवर्सिटी. सो सेकंड कौन सा था हमारा, पहला तो जेनेटिक लेवल था, सेकंड इज द स्पीसीज लेवल. तो स्पीसीज डाइवर्सिटी इज द नंबर ऑफ डिफरेंट स्पीसीज रिप्रेजेंटेड इन अ गिवन कम्युनिटी. कम्युनिटी मींस क्या होगा कि कम्युनिटी मींस वेरियस नंबर. देखो हमने सबसे प्रीवियस लेक्चर थोड़े याद करो कि जहां पे हमने देखा था इंडिविजुअल मतलब सिंगल स्पीसीज है उसका एक ही नंबर है तो इंडिविजुअल है. जब इंडिविजुअल मल्टीपल होता है कि सिंगल स्पीसीज के नंबर्स यहाँ पे इंक्रीज होते हैं लाइक 1 2 देन 3 नंबर्स इन टाइगर्स, मतलब टाइगर से यहाँ पे एक ही था बट यहाँ पे 3 टाइगर हो गए सो इट इज नोन एज द पॉपुलेशन. ओके, एंड व्हेन द डिफरेंट पॉपुलेशन इज गैदर्ड टुगेदर मींस यहाँ पे टाइगर भी आ गए, डियर भी आ गए, देन बियर भी आ गए या फिर और भी मल्टीपल जितने भी एनिमल्स है वो साथ में आ गए. सो दैट इज नोन एज अ कम्युनिटी. ओके, so species diversity is a number of different species represented in a given community. Okay, so that is the thing. So species diversity is a measure of diversity within a ecological community that incorporates both species richness and the number of species in a community and the evenness of the species. So that is the most important part. The species diversity of region measured on the basis of two parameters. So one is the species richness, means it is the number measure of the number of species found in a community, means what are the numbers exactly. So according to that number we can say it is rich, okay, or not, etc. So if the species evenness is the different thing, that is the measure of the relative abundance of the different species making up the richness of an area. For example, just take an example of forest A as a first example and forest B as the second. So we will discuss about the species evenness, means कितने evenness में वो मीन्स यहाँ पे एक की कोई डोमिनेट तो नहीं कर रहा ना. जैसे कि यहाँ पे देखो फॉरेस्ट ए में 4 टाइगर्स है, 5 डियर है एंड 6 रैबिट्स है. तो यहाँ पे क्या है कि किसी एक का पॉपुलेशन बहुत ही ज्यादा ऐसे कुछ नहीं, बट इन द फॉरेस्ट बी देखो एक ही टाइगर है, 6 deers and 8 rabbits है, so that is not the even condition. Okay, so more evenness यहाँ पे कहाँ पे होगा, forest A में होगा. So according to this we decide the species diversity in the two parts. So first is the species richness and second is the species evenness. Okay, so just remember that part. Okay, so next thing is that is the last third part is the community and ecosystem diversity, and that is the refers to the variation in the biological communities in which species live. And there are three perspectives of the diversity at the level of community. Okay, so community or an ecosystem diversity level is definitely going to be the lesser than the gene, and second is the species level. So it is going to be lesser, but it has the various components with it. Okay, so first level of the diversity at the community level is alpha diversity, second is the beta diversity, and third is the gamma diversity. So alpha diversity means it refers to the diversity within a particular area. Okay, within a particular area or ecosystem. For example, we take the example of the estuary or estuary ecosystem or the mangrove ecosystem. So within that, what is the exactly number of species, or that is known as the alpha diversity. It refers the diversity within a particular area or ecosystem and is usually expressed by the number of species. That is the number of species and species richness, okay, in that ecosystem. So what are the number of exactly species? So that thing is known as the alpha diversity. Okay, so next is the beta diversity. It is a comparison of a diversity between ecosystem. For example, let's take the example of one is the wetland ecosystem and second is the, yes, we can say the desert ecosystem. First is the wetland ecosystem and second is the desert ecosystem. So we are going to compare the given species in these two different ecosystem, and usually measured as the change in the amount of species between the ecosystem. So what is the exactly change? So we take the example of the birds or avian species in the wetland region and desert region. So definitely you are going to get higher number of avian species or the bird species in the wetland region. So beta diversity shows the comparison between two ecosystem, different ecosystem. Just remember that. Okay, so next is the gamma diversity. It is a measure of the overall diversities for the different ecosystem within a region. Okay, so particular region, for example, let's take example of the biomes. Okay, if you see the tropical areas, there are different type of ecosystem. So that defines gamma, means that defines the broad angle overall diversity for the different ecosystem within a region. Okay, so I hope you understand the first part of our lecture. So that is the biodiversity and different levels of the biodiversity. Okay, so how many, next topic is the how many species are there on the earth and how many in India. So that is going to be the big question, because there are lots of different types of species on the earth and also in the India. So we can say the tentative data, but not exact data, because there are many species which are still undiscovered. So let's start with some points from the NCERT that shows, since there are published record of all species discovered and named, we know how many species in all have been recorded so far, but it is not easy to answer the question and how many species there are on the earth. So according to the IUCN, we refer the IUCN, the total number of plant and animal species described so far is slightly more than the 1.5 million. Okay, but we have no clear idea how many species are yet to be discovered and described. So estimates vary widely, and many of them are only educate the guesses. Okay, some estimates range from the 20 to 50 million, but a more conservative and scientifically sound estimates made by Robert Mee places the global species diversity at about 7 million. Okay, so although India has only 2.5% of the world's land area, it shares the global species diversity is an impressive, that is 8.1%. So definitely we worked very well that in the conservation of the biodiversity, because we have only 2.4% of the world's land area, but we have the very large share in the world's biodiversity, or we can say the global species diversity. That is very impressive, that is 8.1%. Okay, so that is what makes our country one of the 12 mega diverse countries of the world. Okay, so we are the one from the all the 12 mega biodiversity of the world. Okay, so nearly 45,000 species of the plant and twice as many as animal has been recorded from India. Okay, so let's have a look at the invertebrate, vertebrate and plants. Okay, so if you see the invertebrate, so there is the number of insect is larger than the molluscs and crustaceans and other animal group. And if you see the vertebrate, so the number of aquatic animals, or we can say the fish, is comparatively larger than the other amphibians or reptiles and mammals, birds, etc. Okay, so fish number is dominating in the vertebrate group, and in the plants there is a almost equality in angiosperm and fungi. Okay, and after that there is algae, mosses, lichens and ferns, etc. Okay, so but remember, in plant, fungi and angiosperms are dominating in the percentage. Okay, and in the vertebrate, fish are dominating in the percentage, and in the invertebrate, insects are dominating in the percentage. Okay, so what is the IUCN? So there is general reference of the IUCN. So you must have to know about the IUCN, because it is very important in the conservation efforts in the international level. So IUCN is the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, and it was established in 1948. So it is one of the oldest organization regarding the conservation of nature or the conservation of the environment. So IUCN generally officially named as the IUCN, or we can say the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources also. And it is an organization working in the field of nature's conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. So it is involved in a data gathering and analysis, research, field projects, advocacy, and education. So IUCN's mission is to influence, encourage, and assist societies throughout the world to conserve the nature, to ensure that any use of natural resource is equitable and ecological sustainable. So that is the most important thing. And apart from this, they also aware to all human beings to show, and with the showing levels different red categories after the publishing the different categories, they aware to the general peoples, and it has the observer and consultative status at the United Nations. So United Nations is a very, very important organization, and in that organization, that is in UN, it, IUCN has the observer and consultative status. So there are some red list categories. So जनरल यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे तो टोटल यहाँ पे 7 to 8 कैटेगरीज आपको दिख जाएगी कि जहाँ पे लीस्ट कंसर्न है, लीस्ट कंसर्न आएगा, देन नियर थ्रेटेंड हो गए, देन वल्नरेबल, एंडेंजर्ड, क्रिटिकल, देन यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे कि एक्सटिंक्ट इन द वाइल्ड, एंड लास्ट इज द एक्सटिंक्ट. तो व्हाट इज दिस एग्जैक्टली द कैटेगरीज? So if you consider some categories like or any, for example, just take the example of the tiger. So the number of the tiger in the some region कि जहाँ पे अभी फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिया में टाइगर के नंबर्स यहाँ पे कम हो रहे हैं, तो क्या होगा कि यहाँ से वल्नरेबल कुछ प्रीवियसली स्टेटस था तो अभी एंडेंजर्ड में है, और भी नंबर्स कम हुए तो क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड में उसके नंबर्स आ सकता है, मींस उसका स्टेटस होगा क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड. बट क्या हो रहा है कि अभी इतना इसका यहाँ पे पॉपुलेशन कम हुआ है, उसका पोचिंग हुआ है, हंटिंग हुआ है, सो दैट्स व्हाई टाइगर के नंबर्स अभी ड्रास्टिकली ड्रॉप होके सिर्फ अभी जूज में टाइगर दिखेंगे, वाइल्ड लाइफ में अगर नहीं दिखे, फॉर एग्जांपल ऐसी कंडीशन अगर अराइज हो रही है, सो इट विल नोन एज द एक्सटिंक्ट इन द वाइल्ड, मींस वाइल्ड लाइफ में अभी वो प्रेजेंट ही नहीं, ओनली जूज में या कैप्टिव ब्रीडिंग में आपको दिख जाएगा, सो दैट विल बी नोन एज द एक्सटिंक्ट इन द वाइल्ड. बट जब एंटायरली मींस आपके जो कंजर्वेटिव रिजर्व्स हो गए लाइक नेशनल पार्क, सेंचुरीज एक्सेट्रा, तो वहां पे भी अगर नहीं दिखेंगे, so that will be known as means 100% invisible in every protected area or every area from the earth की बोल सकते हैं हम, अभी दिखेगा ही नहीं, so that will be known as the extinct, that is 100% loss of that species. Okay, so that is the level different categories of the IUCN, and it is very, very important for the conservation efforts कि हमें एक criticality समझ जाती है कि कौन से लेवल पे यहाँ पे पोचिंग, या फिर हम बोल सकते हैं कि कौन से लेवल पे स्पीसीज को थ्रेटनेस हुआ है. ठीक है, सो थ्रेटेंड मींस क्या होता है कि इसमें 3 कैटेगरी आते हैं. सो जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट ये क्वेश्चन में भी पूछ सकते हैं कि थ्रेटेंड में कौन कौन होते हैं, वल्नरेबल, देन एंडेंजर्ड एंड क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड. सो जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट थ्रेटेंड में 3 ही आते हैं, वल्नरेबल, एंडेंजर्ड एंड क्रिटिकली एंडेंजर्ड. एंड एक्सटिंक्ट में कौन आते हैं, 2, दैट इज एक्सटिंक्ट इन द वाइल्ड, एंड लास्ट इज द एक्सटिंक्ट मींस 100% एक्सटिंक्ट. ओके, सो the next color code used by the IUCN is the pink page, that critically endangered species means यहाँ पे कौन से हो गए, critically endangered species में कौन से हो गए, pink list होती है, pink page होता है, and green page formerly endangered but recovered to a point where they are no longer threatened. Okay, so जहाँ पे ग्रीन पेज में क्या होगा कि जहाँ पे पहले ये पूरे थ्रेटन लिस्ट में थे, बट अभी इनको इतना अच्छा रिकवर किया है कि अभी वो आउट ऑफ दिस लिस्ट है, मींस वल्नरेबल, एंडेंजर्ड, क्रिटिकल. तो ये लिस्ट से जो आउट हो गए तो उनको हम कहाँ पे डालेंगे, ग्रीन पेज में. ओके, सो जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट वी विल पुट इट इन ग्रीन पेज. ओके, सो इफ द एग्जैक्टली हम इसका अगर पैटर्न देखेंगे तो ये हमारे कौन से थे, ये तीनों भी किस में आते हैं, यस, वो आते हैं थ्रेटन कैटेगरी में, क्रिटिकल, एंडेंजर्ड, एंड वल्नरेबल. ओके, सो देखो अभी रिवाइज कर लो इसको, थ्रेटन कम थ्रेटन में 3 कैटेगरी, क्रिटिकल, एंडेंजर्ड एंड वल्नरेबल. सो द पॉपुलेशन रिडक्शन परसेंटेज इन ईयर वी कैन से in some of the years. So vulnerable is 50% in last 10 years if they lost particular species, 50% in last 10 years, so it will be known as the vulnerable. If you lost 70% in 10 years, so it is known as the endangered. If you lost 90% in 10 years, it will known as the critical endangered. Okay, so next is the population size in numbers. So less than 10,000, then less than 250 is endangered, and critically endangered is less than 50. And a probability of extinction in the wild, then that is the 10% in 100 years. If there is a probability of extinction in the wild, 10% in 100 years, so we can say it as the vulnerable. So 20% in the 20 years and 50% in the 10 years. And risk of extinction high, very high, and extremely high. So these are some 4 criteria to declare the threatened threatened species, or we can say to include any species in red list category. So that those are the criteria for that. So it is very important, and please remember all these aspects, okay, of the IUCN. So next topic is the pattern of biodiversity. Okay, so what is the pattern of the biodiversity? We can uh, define it on the 2 bases. So that is the latitude gradients, and second is the species area relationship gradient. Okay, so what is the exactly latitudinal gradient? Means pattern of the biodiversity defines exactly how biodiversity is distributed in different region, where it is very show the richness in the biodiversity, and where is the very less biodiversity. So that is the thing, that is the pattern of the biodiversity. So if you go on the equator, so you can see the high diversity. Why? Because there is a high rainfall, then very large dense tree cover, or and there is very densely ecosystems are developed. और we can say कि यहाँ पे बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से क्या हुआ है, yes, कि different proper population species या फिर different diversity enrich हुए because of the high rainfall region, and यहाँ पे लार्ज नंबर में कुछ प्लांट्स वगैरह अवेलेबल है. सो दैट्स वाई यहाँ पे हाई डाइवर्सिटी होगी. एंड जैसे आप 90 डिग्री नॉर्थ एंड 90 डिग्री साउथ की तरफ मूव करते हो टुवर्ड पोल्स, सो rainfall gets lower, temperature gets extreme. So these adverse conditions are not suitable for the high diversity. So you will get the lesser biodiversity as compared to the equator when you travel toward the 90 degree north or 90 degree south, or you can say the polewards. So there is a low diversity because of the adverse climate. Okay, so that is the thing, that is the pattern of the biodiversity from equator to the polewards. Okay, so I hope you understand the latitudinal gradient. So next is the species area relationship during his pioneering and extensive exploration in the wilderness of South American jungles. And the great German naturalist and geographer Alexander von Humboldt observed that the within a region species richness is increased with the increasing explored area, but only up to some limit. In fact, the relationship between species richness and area for a wide variety of taxa, birds, bats, freshwater, and freshwater fish, some turns out to be a rectangular hyperbola. तो दैट इज द थिंग कि यहाँ पे जैसे एरिया होगा तो उस पर डिपेंड होगा कि एग्जैक्टली स्पीसीज रिचनेस कैसे होगा अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट एरिया, नॉट ऑन द लैटिट्यूड बेस बट ऑन द डिफरेंट बायोडाइवर्सिटी सपोर्ट जैसे एरियाज होंगे तो वैसे वो पैटर्न होगा. द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ द स्पीसीज diversity to the ecosystem. So what is the exactly importance? So there is multiple importance, like high species diversity indicates that the organism present are fairly evenly distributed among a large number of species, or we can say the species diversity usually indicates a high degree of functional diversity and the capacity to carry a wide array of a process functional redundancy, and this leads to the ecosystem stability and resilience. Okay, and high biological diversity is an indicator of soil quality also. So there are multiple use, like biodiversity also maintain some ecosystem, एक proper chain of the ecosystem ये maintain कर सकती है. So ये एक important होगा, even though tree are also the part of the ecosystem, and it is a very crucial part of the ecosystem. If you decrease the number of the trees, so you are definitely going to decrease the number of the carbon sink or the percentage of the carbon sink. And यहाँ पे अगर air में अगर carbon का percentage increase हो गया तो definitely क्या होगा, pollution में, यहाँ पे air pollution में increase होगा. So ये human habitation के लिए भी एक probable area नहीं बनेगा. So that's why एक ecosystem एक बहुत ही important part होता है, या फिर डाइवर्सिटी मेंटेन करने की इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट होता है. सो देयर आर नो डायरेक्ट आंसर्स टू सच अ न्यू क्वेश्चन, बट वी कैन डेवलप अ प्रॉपर पर्सपेक्टिव थ्रू an analogy, or we can say the use by the Stanford ecologist Paul English, and in an airplane all parts of the joint together using thousands of rivets. ऐसे कुछ यहाँ पे दिया था उन्होंने एनसीईआरटी में. तो यहाँ पे प्रॉपर आपको एनालिसिस यहाँ पे हो जाएगा. इफ एवरी पैसेंजर ट्रैवलिंग इन इट स्टार्ट्स पॉपिंग अ रिवेट टू टेक अ होम. सो यहाँ पे कुछ केस स्टडी यहाँ पे प्रोवाइड किए कि हाउ द एग्जैक्टली स्पीसीज डाइवर्सिटी इज इंपॉर्टेंट इन द ecosystem. Okay, so I hope you will read that. Okay, and just remember that the every species is important because it is interdependent on various species. Okay, so just remember that. जैसे कि मैंने एक एग्जांपल आपको दिया है ट्री का, ठीक है, सो इसका कैसे इंटर रिलेवेंस होगा, एंड ऑल्सो ट्री के और भी बेनिफिट्स होते हैं, बट आई होप कि आपको वो क्लियर होगा, ठीक है, सो उतना आपको आता होगा. सो बायोडायवर्सिटी लॉस एक पैटर्न होता है. सो बायोडायवर्सिटी लॉस कब हो सकती है, मींस अभी तक हमने जो भी बेनिफिट्स देखे या फिर जो भी इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ द डायवर्सिटी देखे, कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ द बायोडायवर्सिटी देखे, बायोटिक अबायोटिक कंपोनेंट्स, वो प्रीवियस लेक्चर में हमने कुछ कवर किया था. सो अगर ये एंटायरली अगर लॉस हो जाते हैं या उनके नंबर्स यहाँ पे डिक्रीज होते हैं, तो क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा इसका. जैसे मैंने अभी एयर पोल्यूशन का रिसेंटली आपको एक एग्जांपल बताया कि पोल्यूशन, एडिशन ऑफ एनी सब्सटेंस और एनी फॉर्म ऑफ एनर्जी टू द एनवायरनमेंट एट अ रेट फास्टर देन इट कैन बी रेंडर्ड हार्मलेस. ओके, एंड हैबिटेट लॉस एक हो सकता है, थिनिंग, फ्रैगमेंटिंग और आउटराइट डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ एन इकोसिस्टम, प्लांट, सॉइल, हाइड्रोलॉजिकल एंड न्यूट्रिएंट रिसोर्सेज. सो हैबिटेट लॉसेस भी हो सकते हैं कि फॉर एग्जांपल कोई एरिया में अगर फॉरेस्ट फायर हो गया ड्यू टू सम ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज, सो डेफिनेटली क्या होगा कि यहाँ पे उनके लिए प्रोबेबल कंडीशंस नहीं होंगे कि जहाँ पे वहां पे जो स्पीसीज थे, तो डेफिनेटली हैबिटेट लॉस हो जाएगा. इन्वेजिव स्पीसीज मींस क्या होता है कि विच इज द एलियन स्पीसीज, the species which do not belong to the that particular habitat, but uh, it is a foreign species and which is invented in that area, but it is going to be dominant to that area now. ठीक है, सो इन्वेजिव स्पीसीज मीन्स क्या होगा कि वहां पे क्या होगा, वो स्पीसीज इंडिजिनियस नहीं है, मीन्स वहां पे वो बिलोंग नहीं करती, बट कहाँ से उसका इंट्रोडक्शन हुआ है वो एरियाज में. जैसे कि हमारे कांग्रेस ग्रास, आपको तो आई होप कि सबको ही पता होगा कि जैसे फार्म्स को डिस्ट्रॉय करते हैं, कांग्रेस ग्रास न्यूट्रिशन वैल्यू इन वहां पे एब्जॉर्ब कर लेते, सो दैट जो भी क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन वहां पे होगा तो वो कम हो सकता है. सो दैट इज कि यहाँ पे डोमिनेट करेंगे. सो वो इन्वेजिव स्पीसीज, एनी non-native species that significantly modifies or disrupts the ecosystem it colonizes, where it colonizes. Okay, so just remember that invasive species. Then over exploitation, process of harvesting too many aquatic or terrestrial animals, or which depletes the stocks of some species while driving and other to extinction. Okay, so climate change is the very clear phenomena we can see in the last 10 years. So there is very different cases we can note और मॉनिटर कि जहाँ पे वो सिग्निफाई करते हैं कि डिफरेंट, लाइक रिसेंटली कुछ ऑस्ट्रेलिया में फॉरेस्ट फायर हुआ है, इंडिया में भी फॉरेस्ट फायर्स हो रहे हैं. देन लोकस्ट, जो अभी रिसेंटली आपने सुना होगा कि लोकस्ट स्वैम्प्स या लोकस्ट आउटब्रेक हो रहे हैं, तो वो एक कुछ होगा. तो दैट इज एन इंक्रीज इन द नंबर ऑफ एल निनो इवेंट्स और डिक्रीज इन द मॉनसून, डिक्रीज इन द रेनफॉल, इंक्रीज इन द फ्लड्स लाइक साइक्लोन्स एक्सेट्रा. कि अभी बे ऑफ बंगाल पे भी बहुत ज्यादा साइक्लोन्स आ रहे. सो ऑल दीज फैक्टर्स इन लास्ट 10 years या इन द लास्ट डिकेड अगर आप देखोगे, तो ये नंबर्स क्यों इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं, बिकॉज we can see the climate change which is associated with the global warming. So modification of the earth's climate associated with the rising level of greenhouse gases and in the atmosphere over the past 1 to 2 centuries. Okay, so that is the thing, and that are the impact of the loss of the biodiversity. Okay, so next chapter is the biodiversity conservation. So what is the need of the conservation? So we can divide in the 3 aspects. So narrowly utilitarian, then broadly utilitarian, and ethical. Okay, so we can distribute in the 3 angles. So narrow means what? So narrow utilitarian arguments for conserving biodiversity are obvious. Human derives countless direct economic benefits from the nature food and cereals, pearls, fruits, firewood, fibers, etc. So these are the important for the human, for the as a economic purpose or for the living purpose, and we can also produce some medicinal importance also. So these are economically benefited. So that is known as the narrowly utilitarian. Okay, so more than 25% of the drugs currently sold in the market worldwide are derived from the plants and 25,000 species like etc. ठीक है, so that is the most important कि जितने भी drugs है तो उसके almost 1/4 drugs हम कहाँ से, एक nature से ही हम create कर पाते. So nobody knows how many more medicinal useful plants there in the tropical rainforest waiting to be explored. Okay, so these are the benefits that are the known as the narrowly utilitarian. Okay, so next is the broadly utilitarian. Means what? Broadly utilitarian's argument says that the biodiversity plays a major role in many ecosystem service that the nature provides. So which is the service that nature is going to provide for the human being? Okay, the fast vending Amazon forest is the estimate to produce through the photosynthesis 20% of the total oxygen in the earth atmosphere. So ऑलमोस्ट यहाँ पे 1/5 और 20% ऑक्सीजन वर्ल्ड में कहाँ से रिलीज हो रहा है फ्रॉम द अमेजोन फॉरेस्ट. इट दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नोन एज द लंग्स ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. ओके, सो ये इंपॉर्टेंट है कि पॉलिनेशन में भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता है. सो इट इज द ब्रॉडली यूटिलाइज्ड. ओके, and last is the ethical argument for conserving biodiversity is related to what we owe to millions of the plants. Exactly what is our role and what we owe, what is our duty, etc. And animal microbe species with whom we share this planet. Okay, so that is going to be ethical. Means आपका क्या रोल है कि आप उनके लिए क्या करना चाहिए आपको, या फिर इतना सब हमें उनकी तरफ से मिल रहा है तो ये उनका भी एक प्लैनेट है. मींस अर्थ प्लैनेट ये सिर्फ हमारा नहीं है, सिर्फ ह्यूमन बीइंग्स का नहीं है, तो ऑल स्पीसीज एंड ऑल प्लांट स्पीसीज हो गई या फ्लोरा फौना, ये दोनों का भी है. तो एग्जैक्टली हम उनको कितना दे पा रहे हैं इसमें से. सो फिलोसॉफी के अलावा स्पिरिचुअली वी नीड टू रियलाइज दैट एवरी स्पीसीज हैज एन इंस्टिंक्टिव वैल्यू इवन इफ इट मे नॉट बी ऑफ करंट और इन इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू टू अस. ठीक है, कि जहाँ पे हमें इकोनॉमिक बेनिफिट, बिकॉज हमने प्रीवियस 2 में क्या देखा है नैरो एंड ब्रॉडली में, कि जहाँ पे सम ऑफ द इकोनॉमिकली के कुछ बेनिफिट्स होंगे या कुछ इनडायरेक्ट भी बेनिफिट्स होते हैं, बट इन इथिकल यहाँ पे हमें कुछ इकोनॉमिक बेनिफिट भी नहीं मिला, बट स्टिल हमें क्या कि वो पैटर्न में हमें याद रखना है कि इवन इफ इकोनॉमिक बेनिफिट नहीं हुआ बट हमारा कुछ रोल होता है कि यहाँ पे विदाउट एनी बेनिफिट उनको पे करना है. सो वी हैव अ मॉरल ड्यूटी टू केयर फॉर देयर वेल बीइंग एंड पास ऑन our biological legacy in good order to future generations. So this is known as the ethical yes biodiversity conservation pattern. Okay, so that is the biodiversity, 3 parts of the overall biodiversity conservation. So we can on that basis we can do some conservation. How do we conserve the biodiversity? So we can conserve in 2 methods, that is ex situ or in situ. In situ conservation means on the site conservation की जहाँ पे वो बायोडाइवर्सिटी लोकेटेड है या और स्पीसीज लोकेटेड है, और वी कैन सी द ट्रीज फ्लोरा फाउना जहाँ पे लोकेटेड, तो वहां पे हम कुछ बॉर्डर्स डिमार्केट करके यहाँ पे उनका कंजर्वेशन कर सकते हैं. सो दैट इज नोन एज द इन सिटू कंजर्वेशन. बट व्हाट इज द एक्स सिटू कंजर्वेशन, कि यहाँ से वो स्पीसीज हम कैरिड आउट करेंगे एंड कोई अदर एरियाज की जैसे नेशनल पार्क, जोलॉजिकल पार्क होते हैं, बॉटनिकल गार्डन, तो वहां पे ये स्पीसीज को हम ट्रांसलोकेट करके यहाँ पे उनका कंजर्वेशन करेंगे. So that is known as the ex situ conservation. So this is the ex situ, okay, and in situ means क्या होगा कि यहाँ पे हम उनका conservation करेंगे, तो in situ on their own site, okay, and ex situ means apart from their own site, okay. So in situ and ex situ के कुछ part है. In situ में देखो प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया नेटवर्क होते हैं जैसे कि सैक्रेड ग्रूव्स, सैक्रेड लेक्स, देन बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, नेशनल पार्क्स, देन नेशनल बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व में भी टेरिस्ट्रियल एंड मरीन ऐसे कुछ पार्ट होते हैं. देन एक्स सिटू में अगर आप देखोगे कि सैक्रेड प्लांट्स, होम गार्डन्स, देन सीड बैंक्स, फील्ड जीन बैंक, प्रिजर्वेशन, ये एक्स सिटू के पार्ट है. ओके, कि जहाँ पे सीड बैंक्स होते हैं मींस लैब में होगा, या फील्ड जीन बैंक्स हो गए. क्रायो प्रिजर्वेशन मींस क्या होता है कि जहाँ पे लोएस्ट टेम्परेचर पे सीड का प्रिजर्वेशन किया जाता है. सो दैट इज नोन एज द क्रायो प्रिजर्वेशन. एंड वेल नोन कुछ एक्स सिटू मेथड्स है, दैट इज बॉटनिकल गार्डन, देन zoological gardens, देन एक्वेरियम होते हैं. तो ये सब क्या है कि एक्स सिटू के कुछ मेथड्स है. सो ये सब हम कंजर्वेशन मेथड्स अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. सो इन सिटू it refers to the conservation of biological diversity in their natural habitat through the protection of total ecosystem. So examples उसके national park, wildlife sanctuary, biosphere reserve, community reserve and sacred forest or lakes. In ex situ it refers the conservation of biodiversity at place away from their natural habitat, and these includes botanical gardens, zoos, genetic resources center, pollen grains, DNA banks भी होते हैं उसमें. So seed gene banks और germ plasm banks are the easiest way to store germ plasm of wild and cultivated plants in low temperature in cold rooms. Okay, and at ultra low temperature it is called as cryopreservation. So that is generally used for the seed conservation. Okay, so the next is protected area. These area of land or sea especially dedicated to the protection of and maintenance of biological diversity and of natural associated cultural resource. The protected areas are managed through the legal or other effective means. So generally there are 3 very famous we can say the protected areas, that is national park, wildlife sanctuaries, and last is the biosphere reserve. Okay, so what is national park? An area which is strictly reserved for the welfare of wildlife, flora, fauna, and entire landscape, and where activities such as forestry, grazing, and cultivation are not allowed. So national park में कोई activity यहाँ पे allowed नहीं होती है. So generally ये क्या होगा कि यहाँ पे entirely protected area होगा. So private ownership right and habitat manipulation are not permitted in a national park. So that is very important. So wildlife sanctuaries में थोड़ा सा यहाँ पे relaxation होता है in area which is reserved for the conservation of animals only, because wildlife is for the animals only, and national park में flora, fauna and means animal and plant species सबका यहाँ पे क्या होगा कि conservation किया जाता है. But generally sanctuaries are species specific, means like कोई tiger related sanctuary होगी, for example नीलगिरी tiger reserve है ना, या फिर कोई और रीजन्स होगा, तो वहां पे एक स्पीसीज रिलेटेड यहाँ पे क्या होता है कि कंजर्वेशन होता है. सो ऑपरेशन सच एज हार्वेस्टिंग ऑफ टिम्बर, कलेक्शन ऑफ माइनर फॉरेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स एंड प्राइवेट ओनरशिप राइट्स आर अलाउड प्रोवाइडेड दे डू नॉट अफेक्ट द एनिमल्स एडवर्सली. सो ट्राइबल लोगों के लिए यहाँ पे कुछ अलाउड एक्टिविटीज वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज में होती है. सो देयर आर अराउंड 500 वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज इन द इंडिया, मोर देन 500, आई विल से मोर देन 500, एंड more than 100 national parks. So 105 का कुछ अभी डेटाज होगा, तो please check that, stay updated. And degrees of the protection, if you see, so ये maybe prelims का कुछ question बन सकता है. So degree of protection, greater protection in national park and lesser compared to the national park, okay, in wildlife sanctuaries. So grazing and other activities not allowed in national park, that is prohibited, and regulated means with the regulation allowed होगा in wildlife sanctuary. And power to declare, state and center may declare national park and state and center may declare wildlife sanctuary, means state and center दोनों भी यहाँ पे declare कर सकते हैं कोई national park and wildlife sanctuary. Okay, so what are the conservation reserve? So the protected areas of India which typically act as a buffer zone to or connector and migration corridors between the established national park and wildlife sanctuaries and reserve and protected forests, first introduced in the Wildlife Protection Amendment Act 2002. Okay, so that is the conservative areas and which are mostly the government owned areas होती है and जहाँ पे ये conservation किया जाता है, and it is the connecting point between the national park or between two national park, between different sanctuaries, etc. So community is the private area similar to the conservation reserve होता है, but it is generally a private individual group होता है कि जहाँ पे अगर कोई किसी का ये community reserve and यहाँ पे कोई national park है for example and यहाँ पे कोई national park है, so इनके बीच में ये area in between these national park there is some area which is owned by the private some private individuals or some tribal groups. So उनको हम अवेयर करके क्या है यहाँ पे कम्युनिटी रिजर्व कर सकते हैं कि ये दोनों के नेशनल पार्क का जो भी बायोडाइवर्सिटी यहाँ पे डेफिनेटली उनका इम्पैक्ट यहाँ पे होगा. सो उनको भी कंजर्वेशन अगर करोगे so that will maintain the bridge between these different national parks. Okay, so last is the Biosphere Reserve. So Man and Biosphere Reserve program is formed by the UNESCO, formulated the concept of the Biosphere Reserve in 1975, and it deals with the conservation of ecosystem and the genetic resource contained therein. Okay, so Biosphere Reserve is almost similar to the sanctuaries, we can say the sanctuaries, because इसमें देखो तीन part में distribution होता है. The center part is declared as the core zone, and in the core zone there is no activity is allowed in the core zone, because यहाँ पे क्या है मोर उनका हैबिटेट होता है या फिर मोस्टली वहां पे उनका हैबिटेशन होता है लॉन्ग टाइम, अगर कोई स्पीसीज वहां पे स्पेंड करता है, सो दैट इज नोन एज अ कोर जोन, एंड वहां पे कोई भी एक्टिविटीज अलाउड नहीं होती. ओके, बट इन द सेकंड जोन दैट इज द बफर जोन, तो यहाँ पे एक स्लाइटली कुछ एक्टिविटीज अलाउड होती है, लाइक research and education activities allowed in the buffer zone, and last zone is the transitional zone where we can allow the settlements. Okay, so last is the transitional zone, and outermost part of the biosphere reserve, it serves as an area of active cooperation between reserve management and the local people, wherein activities like settlement, cropping, forest and recreation and other economic uses are allowed. Okay, so that is the thing ki center core part mein it is comprises an undisturbed and legally protected ecosystem, that is a core zone or also known as the natural zone. So those zoning is given in the biosphere reserve. So just remember, very important biosphere reserve, and India has a total 18 biosphere reserve. Okay, so just remember that India has 18 biosphere reserve, and by the UNESCO, means Man and Biosphere Reserve, out of these 18, 11 are declared as the map site, means UNESCO site, by the UNESCO. Okay, so it is declared by the UNESCO, that is Man and Biosphere Reserve. Okay, so those are the 11 out of these 18. So total there is a 18 biosphere reserve. Okay, and the list of these 18 biosphere reserve is given in the overall map, and please revise this all the 11 biosphere reserve, because it is very important for the prelims. Okay, so today we covered the various parts of the biodiversity and the different conservation pattern and the richness of the biodiversity and what is the exactly importance of the biodiversity. So how to conserve and why to conserve, and some ethical patterns we हमने कुछ discuss किए. So you can also follow the YouTube channel, that is by Simplify IS, and you will get all the environment related current affairs so that you can get the exam approach. Okay, and आप यहाँ पे different जितना भी current affairs देखोगे तो उतना और भी environment related ideas आपके clear होंगे. ठीक है, so please follow this YouTube channel, that is a Simplify IS, and also the Telegram channel की जहाँ पे मैं ये PPT share करता हूँ. Okay, so thank you. Yes, we will discuss the remaining part in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.